My name is Jennifer, and at 43 years old, I find myself completely hooked on Spanish soap operas. Thanks to various streaming services, I've been binge-watching one dramatic series after another. There's something irresistible about the constant twists and turns, but little did I know my own life was about to rival any soap opera in drama. It was nearly 6 years ago, when I was living with my older husband. We had never been blessed with children, but I cherished our time together. That all changed one evening when I received a call from Monica, my best friend since childhood, who had even attended our wedding. "Hey Jennifer, it's been a while. I wanted to let you know that I got divorced," Monica said. "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It sounds like a tough time. Let's get together for drinks soon," I replied, trying to offer some comfort. When I got home, I was about to tell my husband about Monica's news, but he surprised me by saying, "I know Monica's divorced." I was taken aback. "How did you know about that?" "I haven't mentioned it to you yet." He looked at me with an expression that suggested he was piecing something together. "I think I overheard something," he said, though his vague explanation left me puzzled. I shrugged off the confusion and told him, "Yes, Monica is divorced. We're planning to meet up for drinks soon." My husband then asked, "Can I come along?" I was puzzled. I thought it was supposed to be a girls' night out. Despite my hesitation, I agreed to ask Monica if it was all right for him to join us. To my surprise, Monica responded enthusiastically, "Sure, let's all go out for drinks together." I was disappointed, wishing for a girls-only evening, but I relented. In the end, the three of us, my husband, Monica, and I, met up for drinks. The night turned out to be quite enjoyable. Monica vented about her ex-husband's shortcomings, and we all shared laughs over her stories. It felt like we were having a great time, but when I excused myself to use the restroom and returned, I was taken aback by the sight of Monica and my husband gazing deeply into each other's eyes and engaged in a conversation that seemed a bit too intimate. A knot formed in my stomach as I took in the scene. The evening had started off as a simple gathering, but now I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that something was amiss. Couldn't shake the feeling that something seemed too intimate between them. They hadn't seen each other since our wedding, so how did they become so chummy after just a few drinks? It felt like I was intruding on a date between two people who were clearly more than just old friends. When I returned to my seat, they had resumed their normal demeanor, acting as if nothing had happened. I wondered if I was overreacting, but the uneasy feeling lingered. As the evening drew to a close, I decided it was time to settle the bill and leave. Monica was quite drunk, and my husband casually mentioned, "I'll take her home." His nonchalant attitude caught me off guard. "I'm going to take her home" sounded more like a command than a suggestion, as if he was deciding on his own. I protested, "I'm not as drunk as she is, but I've had a few drinks too. Besides, I'm your wife. It's too late for her to be alone, and she's in no condition to get home safely." He insisted, "You take a cab and go home yourself. She's fine. I'll make sure she gets home." I was taken aback. "If you take her in a cab, she'll go straight to her apartment, won't she? I'm worried she won't make it on her own." I knew Monica was living alone, and it was possible she had mentioned this while I was in the restroom. The discomfort I felt quickly turned into disbelief. "Fine then. I'll go home myself," I said. I left them at the restaurant, feeling a mix of unease and determination. As much as I didn't want to leave Monica alone with my husband, I realized it might be more useful for me to return home and investigate their relationship. Once I arrived home, I headed straight to my husband's study. A room that wasn't a bedroom, a private space where he might keep important information. As I searched through the room, I realized that if I could find answers in Monica's house, it would be quite an invasion of privacy. Still, the conflict in my mind was overwhelming. While rummaging through the shelves, I stumbled upon a basic photo album, one I didn't recall seeing when we moved in. With a sinking feeling, I began flipping through the pages. I should have stopped, but it was too late. The album was filled with photos of my husband and Monica, both beaming with happiness. Judging by Monica's hairstyle and the way my husband's clothes looked, it was clear they had been meeting secretly for years, possibly since shortly after our marriage. They had been involved in an intense relationship for over a decade. The shock and the combination of my hunger and alcohol left me feeling nauseous. I rushed to the bathroom, barely making it before I began to throw up. Just as I was trying to compose myself, my husband came home. "Oh, you're throwing up? Did you drink that much?" he'd asked, rubbing my back. I snapped, "Don't touch me," and slapped his hand away. "Just wait a second. I need to get some water." He seemed to think I was too drunk to know what was going on. "Yes, I know who you are," I said bitterly. "I just hate you right now. I wish I could get so drunk I'd forget how much this hurts. Wait here. We need to talk," he said, clearly trying to lighten the mood with a laugh. I glared at him, trying to catch my breath. "Is this your idea of a joke? Are you trying to make light of the situation because I'm upset about you dropping her off?" He shrugged, seemingly unaware of the gravity of the moment. "Well, let's adjust the tone then. First question. What's this picture about?" I confronted him with the album I had discovered in his room, simply showing him the cover. His face turned pale as he saw it. "Let's start with a yes or no question," I said. "Is there any wife in the world who could look at this picture and be okay with it? You know, considering what it shows." He remained silent, and I pressed on. "How do you think I feel right now? Go ahead, give me an answer." When he didn't respond, I snapped, "Why aren't you saying anything? Why just sit there in silence?" His silence only heightened my frustration. "Okay, I cheated. I'm really stupid. I'm truly sorry," he finally admitted, his voice lacking sincerity. I wished he would just show some real remorse, maybe even cry a little. His silence was unbearable. Then finally he spoke. "She's the one for me. Monica and we were both married to the wrong partners. After everything, we finally found each other. I feel like we're soulmates, destined to be together." I was stunned. "Soulmates? Are you suddenly a poet or something?" He continued, "I realize now that I made a mistake marrying you. Our soul vibrations are different. We can't be happy together. This is a test of fate for me and Monica." His words were so disconnected from reality that I could hardly process them. "So, we're not connected on a spiritual level. Is that what you're saying?" I stared at him, speechless, struggling to grasp the bizarre turn of our conversation. I was completely baffled by his words. I couldn't make sense of what he was saying. Only that he and I were hopelessly incompatible. My best friend had betrayed me, my husband had betrayed me, and honestly, I was beyond tears. "I don't understand what you're talking about," I said, feeling numb. "All I know is that you and I are hopelessly incompatible. If you're so keen on being with Monica, then fine. I'm willing to let you go, because you've been a terrible husband." He seemed to be speaking in riddles, and it only made my frustration grow. "I don't think you and I are compatible either," I said flatly. "You've clearly lost your mind, but I still don't understand what you're on about." "I knew you'd say that," he replied, seemingly resigned. "So you'll agree to a peaceful divorce, right?" I replied, "So you won't be paying alimony then?" He didn't seem to grasp the gravity of the situation. "I don't think I'm in the right spiritual mindset to deal with you right now," he said, his voice trailing off as if he were in a different world. His incoherence was almost maddening. "What's the matter with you, Jen?" he asked. I responded with an equally ridiculous answer. "I'm ignoring your absurd divorce request." Ignoring his pleas, I headed to the shower. He continued to shout from the other room, criticizing me and demanding a response. "I'll never be free unless you agree to divorce me," he yelled. I ignored him completely. "You'll be free to do what you want, and I'll be free from you. From this day on, you're nothing but a piece of trash to me, as insignificant as mold in a bathtub." The next morning my husband left for work in a foul mood. I didn't greet him, prepare his breakfast, or even help him with his tie. I had taken the day off after our night out, and I got up just in time to see him leave. Well, from today on I'll be living alone. I decided to tidy up my room, and by the evening, when my husband came home, I heard him call out from the front porch, "I'm home," but I didn't respond. Soon he was shouting about his missing shoes. "Hey Jen, where are my shoes? And why are you eating without me?" I remained silent, watching TV and enjoying my steak and fine champagne. "Yes, I threw away your shoes," I called out without looking at him. "It's normal to eat alone since I live here by myself. I have quite a bit saved up, so I'm treating myself." He sounded frustrated. "Jen, are you even listening?" I poured myself another glass of champagne, ignoring him. "We'll talk after I get out of the shower," he said, but I could hear the irritation in his voice. As I heard him clattering around upstairs, I knew he was searching for his pajamas. Then he called down, "Jen, why is there nothing in my room? Where are my pajamas? I can't even take a bath without any clothes." I replied calmly, "I live alone now. You'll have to figure it out." I quickly finished my meal and went to my room, showing no reaction to his distress. He followed me, asking where his food was. "Go buy your own," I said. "I've told you repeatedly that I live alone." I had already finished my bath, so I headed straight to the bedroom. I had even disposed of his toothbrush, curious to see how he would manage in the morning. When I woke up, my husband was sitting in a chair, looking like Roddins the Thinker. He must have been in such a rush last night that he didn't manage to properly get ready. His hair was sticky and messy, exposing his scalp. As soon as he saw me, he tried to compose himself and got down on his knees, desperately apologizing. I was genuinely shocked by how far he was willing to go. "It hurts me to know how you've treated me, but I realize I've done terrible things to you without considering your feelings," he said, his voice full of regret. "I'm sorry for that." His apology was exactly what I needed to hear, but I didn't respond. "I want us to start over," he added, hoping for a second chance. I was stunned into silence. I gave him a look of sheer disgust. No, I said. "I can't live with someone who is spiritually lost, cheats, and causes so much trouble." His shock was palpable. "You don't like that?" he asked, clearly taken aback. "Think about what you did," I said coldly. "Say something if you have a clue." He pleaded, "I'll do whatever you say." I knew he was falling back on his usual tactics. Promises and material gifts whenever we had a fight. But this time I was prepared. "Okay then, do as I say," I replied, the words I'd been waiting to say finally escaping my lips. I smiled, and his face fell, a look of despair spreading across it. I wanted to see that expression. No, I corrected myself. "I don't mean it like that." His confusion was evident. "I have no intention of accepting any terms," I continued. "Do you really think you can just brush off your infidelity after all this time?" "I'm taking action against both you and Monica," I declared. "I'll do everything in my power to hold both of you accountable. And I'll inform Monica's ex-husband as well. You'll both be facing alimony claims." He looked at me with wide eyes. "Good luck paying them," I said. "Come on, get up and take your things with you." I forced him to gather his belongings and dragged him to the front door. "Where are you taking me?" he asked, bewildered. "Outside," I said firmly. "I'm taking over this house. It's mine now. I don't want any more strangers in my home." "Wait, can't you at least wait until after the divorce?" he pleaded. "That's not going to happen," I snapped back. "Why not?" "What the hell, Jen? You just started talking all of a sudden and then you were so cold. Shut up and get out." I shoved him out the front door, with all my might. The strength I was able to muster came from the years of accumulated stress and anger. It's strange how much negative energy can build up over time. Before the divorce papers were finalized, we all, my husband Monica, her ex-husband, and I, met to discuss things. Monica admitted she had fallen for my husband at our wedding and had approached him immediately afterward. Their affair began then, and they had been discreetly continuing their relationship, hoping to stay under the radar until they were both free. They had been cheating on both their families. Monica's ex-husband was devastated when he first learned of the affair. I had no sympathy for the situation. Instead, I was relieved. The evidence they provided would support my claim for alimony. After being kicked out of our home, my husband moved in with Monica. But when she received the alimony demands from both me and her ex-husband, reality hit her hard. "We can't remarry if we're in debt," she said. "I need to find someone with better financial prospects." She gave him the boot, despite her claims of a spiritual connection with him. "Isn't she the soulmate you thought you were connected to on a deeper level? And now you're losing her over money." I couldn't help but feel disgusted by their predicament. Suck it up, I thought. This is what you get for betraying your wife. 6 years have passed since then. While I was paying alimony, my ex-husband retired and had to spend most of his retirement funds on those payments. He still struggles, and Monica's situation isn't any better. She's living in tough conditions, having exhausted her savings on alimony, and no man would want to remarry her in her current state. As for me, I've been earning well but haven't done anything special with my money except focus on work. Life is unpredictable, so I'm trying to live modestly and do what I enjoy. They say, if you're prepared for anything, you're prepared for everything. I've been enjoying watching Spanish soap operas every day. Recently, I met someone at work who shares my interest, and we're even talking about traveling to Spain together someday. I look forward to that day, and I'm not concerned with soul vibrations. For now, my goal is to live happily and peacefully.